Welcome to Step 2 in the Art of Storytelling. This is the second step of 14 steps of crafting a captivating story. Now in this one right here, you're going to watch our 6 storytellers push through the story. I want you to notice, this is not the time to embellish the story. We just simply want you to tell it the best you can. Allow us to work with you to make it better. At this point, watch them tell the stories, and then you take the story that was assigned to you in the book and simply push through it. It's as simple as that. Now, let's go to our storytellers.
There was a mother crab who said to her son, "Why do you walk sideways like that? You should always walk straight forward with your toes pointed outward." And the young crab said to his mother, "Oh, mother, can you show me how to do that? I really want to learn." And so the mother crab tried and tried and tried to walk straight forward, but she couldn't do it. She could only walk sideways, just like her son. And when she tried to point her toes outward, she fell flat on her face. So you see, if you're going to encourage someone to do something, you should be able to do it yourself.
It's a story about the mice that had all gotten together, and they were trying to discuss how they were going to take care of their problem. Their problem was the fact that the cat was just keeping their life in constant fear. And they didn't know quite how to solve this problem because they didn't feel free to go day or night without fear of that cat. So they were trying to discuss how they can at least have some type of system so they would know that it would be coming. And they talked and talked and talked. Finally, a young mouse stood up and says, "I have a plan that is so simple that it will for sure succeed. All we have to do is put a bell on the cat. And that way we'll hear him coming." Well, everyone thought that was such a brilliant idea for such a young mouse. And they wondered why they hadn't thought of that before. Until in the midst of all the rejoicing, one of the older mice finally stood up and said, "Well, it's true that the young mouse's idea is a very good idea. I just have one question. Who is going to put the bell on the cat?" And the moral of the story is it's easy to think of great plans, but it's not always as easy to carry them out, or something like that. I forget what it is, but anyway, it's always easy to come up with great plans, but not always as easy to carry them out.
A gnat had been flying through the meadow. He's a very small creature, and he made a lot of noise. He started to get tired, and he rested on the tips of the horns of a bull, rested there a while, and then took off. But before he took off, he said to the bull, "I'll bet you're glad to have me leave." The bull said, "I didn't even realize you were there, whatever." And then the gnat flew away. So the moral of the story is that sometimes we think we are so much more important than we actually are.
Once there was a dog who was passing by a butcher shop. The butcher happened to have a nice, big, juicy bone in his hand, and he threw it out at the dog. The dog greedily took that bone and started to run away. He ran toward the shore. As he did, he came up to a bridge, and he was running across the bridge, looking down into the water, when he saw another dog in the water with a bone bigger than his own. Now, he stopped and think about that for just a moment, but He just couldn't stand it that a dog would have something better than himself. So he dove down into the water. Well, the poor dog almost drowned. By the time he got out of that water and onto the shore, the butcher's bone was long gone. And as he came to the shore, he realized once and for all that being greedy might just lose everything.
There once was a miser who had hidden gold in his yard or his field, and he buried it. And every day he would go out, he would dig it up, he would count the gold, and he would rebury it. A thief observed him doing this, and he figured out that the miser was bearing gold. So that night he went and snuck in and dug it up and stole it. The miser went the next day and discovered his gold was gone, and he cried, "Oh, my gold, my gold." He pulled his hair, he tore his clothes, he groaned, and a passerby heard this and came and said, "What's the matter?" The miser said, "My gold's been stolen." And so the passerby said, "Why didn't you just keep it in your house where you would have had easy access to buy things?" And the miser said, "Oh, I couldn't spend my gold to buy things. I had to keep it." So the passerby took a stone and threw it in the hole and covered it up and said, "This is just as good as your gold because you didn't have any use for it anyway." You see, a possession is only as good as the use you make of it.
Once there was a farmer, and he was nearing death. He had two sons, and he called his sons to his bedside because he wanted to make sure that the sons took care of his farm the way that he had. And so what he told them was that somewhere on our farm is buried a treasure. After the farmer died, his sons went out day after day and plowed the fields and dug with their spades looking for that treasure. They never found the treasure, but their crops yielded, their farm yielded a great crop. The moral, I forgot the moral. The moral is industry. Industry is the treasure itself.